Alright, what's up, people? We are back. And we actually have 1080p this time. Because Twitch was kind enough to give me 1080p today. I've had a couple of hours sleep. So now I'm gonna get back to... the music sounds a bit loud though. I'm basically gonna be working on this. Lerping the player position and then lerping the camera field of view when entering slow motion. I'm gonna be streaming for about 2 hours. Well, 1.5 right now. Because then we're gonna have some visitors and then I'll get back to streaming after that. So to lerp the player position, we have to do target translation. Nathan's, what's up? Yeah, so we'd basically set the target translation to vector 3 forward instead of the translation. Right. Now, vector 3 lerp between translation and target translation. Well, because this isn't really translation, like a target translation, it's more like a movement. So let's do translation plus, translation minus, plus. There we go. Let's add a public float movement time. Set that to 1 right now. Igorsic, thank you so much for the subscription, man. Let's switch the song so Twitch doesn't get upset with me. Also, apparently, Jan said I was a bit low, like my microphone. Let me see. Okay, that's as loud as it can get. The amount of crashes is faked. It definitely should be -8. Totally. Absolutely. Tim got -2 crashes for now. Yeah, because he did have a crash, and I guess he counts negative crashes. So yeah. Oh, sorry about that. I don't think I can do vector 3 distance here. Try logging that. And give that a run. Yeah, I got animation stuff. I think it was an issue with the animation controller being null pointer from what I could tell when he tried to import it. Stretch, you're working around the problem here. That problem. The problem being that I removed stretch. So that didn't see that email notification, it's probably just spam. Okay, yeah, I can use that. Now we definitely want that to be a lot faster. Okay, so if I do 2, I think that's gonna be 10. Oh yeah, 10 actually feels really nice. Yeah, I don't know how to pronounce that, but thank you so much for following. And Jumpy Lion, what's up, man? So the game idea right now, the game idea currently is that you're gonna be like this cube, right? And you move around on kind of a grid-based thing. And the moves that you make kind of here. So we're basically gonna have each level be split into 2 parts, like this, right? Whatever moves you make here will be replicated on this side, right? So if the player moves to the right here, it's gonna move to the left here. And on this side, it's gonna be a puzzle, right? You're gonna have a bit of an obstacle course, almost. So not all tiles on this side will exist in the first place. So if I move, say, 2 steps to the right here, after 10 seconds, it's gonna replay here. And it's gonna move 1, 2. If there's no tile here, you die, you start over. There's gonna be some puzzles, maybe enemies that you have to deal with. So the theme is every 10 seconds, and the idea is that every 10 seconds, the player's moves will be replicated on this side, right? So you have 10 seconds to move in here. After 10 seconds, it will replicate those moves here. If you die, or if you just don't make it to the goal, you'll go back to this side, and you can make more moves in the next 10 seconds. So that's basically how the theme comes in here. And in fact, I'm going to be working on the movement replication today. Once I sort of have some stuff working. So it's like a 1 move in 10 seconds. No, you can make any number of moves that you have time for, right? So you can make 50 moves if you manage to somehow do that. You can't. There is a fixed limit on how many moves you can make. But the basic idea is you could make, say, 10 moves in 10 seconds. But it's not limited to 1 move per every 10 seconds. Target. If it's less than that, otherwise we'll do that. Let's have a look. And I'm really liking the feel of that lerp. You might want to make that slightly lower. Yeah, I like that. Okay. Player movement lerp. Done. Also, I haven't actually checked. How long do we have left on the jam? 2 days and 11 hours. Cool. What's up, Marka? Good morning. Okay, so we have that. Now, I'd like to lerp the field of view of the camera whenever you go into slow motion. That means we're gonna need a reference to the camera component. And whenever we do enter slow motion, we immediately want to start lerping towards a target field of view, which is going to be a smaller field of view. And once we exit, we're going to lerp back. Yes. Okay. Let's add. Then we want to show like a real-time counter on the time left. I did have that initially. Like right when we started the stream yesterday, but I screwed it up. I could add that right now, to be honest. Let's actually do that. LD jam counter. LDjam.com. Let's do 1920 1080. That looks good. And let's crop the transform. 1300. Yep. The right's gonna be 300. Nah, a bit more. 400. No, 350. Top is gonna be. That's way too much. 400. Is that the... No, that's not it. 300. That looks good, because that should be the jam. Let's do new. Not 800. 600. 700. 750. That looks 730, and then we can scale it up to like that. Although it would be good if you can actually see the time format. Meaning we need to crop less on the top. So maybe to okay, that looks good. Oh, I can crop with alt drag. I did not know that. That's good to know. Thank you so much. Zalem. It says, so thanks. I will try to keep that in mind for the future. Let's see. Slow motion FOV. Which I think we're gonna start by setting to say 15. We can tweak that later. And we effectively want to lerp right here, because here we're in slow motion mode here, so we lerp. Then once we that sounds good. So let's have a private camera component. Put camera component equal to find entity by tag. Why am I not using this? I can just reference the entity and say camera component equals that get component camera component. Math f lerp between vertical field of view, slow motion field of view. Let's add slow motion lerp time. Set that to maybe 6 initially. Slow motion lerp time times TS. Make it real nice and smooth. Let's switch the playlist on Epidemic Sound. Let's do if vertical field of view is not. Eddie, what's up, man? That's not equal to slow motion field of view. Do that. Else if camera component not. Yeah, we need to. We should keep track of the original field of view as well. FOV. Camera component vertical field of view. It's not equal to original field of view. We want to lerp from recurrent to the original field of view. You basically say if. Well, let's just give that a go. So that means time manager will now need the camera. Save that. Give this a go and. Oh yeah. Oh, I like that. Should probably be a bit snappier though. Have the lerp happen a bit quicker. I think. Twice as fast. Maybe it shouldn't go quite that far in though. Oh yeah. Now, gonna shoot the boys a message. But that's the lerping. So, okay. We now have that working. So I'm wondering if we should maybe start on the player replication system immediately. Or on the kind of movement replication. Because that's actually really simple to do. And I'm thinking of doing that kind of as part of... Okay, so Time Manager, I think, should really have a private int elapsed seconds, or maybe make that a float. This is what's gonna be keeping track of, let's actually do private void update slow motion. TS. Just slap this in there. Update slow motion. TS. And elapsed seconds plus equals timestamp. Effectively, that's what we're going to be doing. Although I'm not sure if that really matters here. Well, because the idea is we're going to have some script that basically records the player's movements. And then after 10 seconds, it's going to replay them kind of, but flipped, right? So we're going to flip the X movement, essentially, and replicate that to a different kind of player object that isn't controlled by keyboard input. And I'm just trying to think what the best way of doing that would be. Because essentially what's going to happen in here is when we make a movement, we effectively want to go something like movement replicator, replicate movement, right? Or record move. And we're basically just gonna tell it, yeah, I moved forward from my last position. Right, and in Uncreate we'd probably do record initial position to be translation. That way this will be sort of an offset from the initial position or from the last position. Yeah, let's actually go ahead and make a script called movement replicator. And this is just gonna have a struct called movement yeah, just movement, I think. And that's gonna be keeping track of the position as well as time spent on tile, right? Because we want to replicate the, like, how many seconds you stand on the tile as well. And then we're just gonna be keeping a list probably of movement, recorded movements, which we can just set to a new list immediately. Record move. Move, I guess. Nick, what's up? Hello from Norway. Time spent on tile is gonna be 0. And then add movement like that. And then the idea is in here, we basically want to get the last movement. I think. Yeah. We're gonna get the last movement, but we'll do if the count is greater than 0. We want to do recorded movements at recorded movements count -1. Which would give us the move. And we just want to do time spent on tile plus equals delta time. Alright, it's a struct, so I can't actually modify it like that. Yeah, I decided to count Hazel crashes. And I had 8 within the first hour. Alright, let's do var movement equals that. Movement time spent on tile plus equals delta time. And then I think I have to reassign it. Like that. I think. Let's just do if input is key pressed. Key code dot L. No, L. We just want to log. That. Time spent on tile. Create an empty. Call it movement replicator. Give it a script movement replicator, like that. Then in player, you can just do private movement replicator, movement replicator. Find entity by tag. Movement replicator dot as movement replicator. We're currently not recording the initial position, but we do want to record a move. Vector 3. We'll only do negative vector 3 right. Yes. Vector 3 forward. And this is just going to be vector 3 right. And these are going to get flipped in when we're playing back the movement. Let's build. Hit play. So we make a move, we make a move, we make a move. Then we press L. Yep, and we move. Okay. So now we're able to keep track of the time we spend on the last tile. Now, is it better to keep these as sort of an offset almost from the current position of the player? Because the initial position is going to be the same for kind of the replicated player and the normal player. Right. So Yeah, I think that makes sense. Because in that case, it's basically just recording. I actually like that. The fact that we will be doing that. Because then, instead of keeping track of the initial position here, we just get these as sort of an offset, effectively. Right? Meaning we could do movement. Binoige, thank you so much for following. And we could do pop move effectively. In which case, I'm actually thinking we should use a Q. If that's the case. Because we're gonna be popping the last movement off the list either way. Luch, thank you so much for following. What's up, Binoich? Yeah, I think we should use a Q in that case. And I don't actually... cannot be used with... Q isn't a generic collection. So what's the generic version? I haven't used Q, generic Q. Yeah, it's a Q. It is generic. What? I'm sorry. What the hell are you on about? Do we not have a reference time as corelib? Browse. Dev. Hazel. Add. Hazelnut. Mono lib. Mono 4.5. MS corelib. It's already referenced by the build system. What? Seriously? I can't use Q. Also, this removes from the start. Q, DQ from end. Yeah, I guess in that case we're gonna use a list. Because Q pops from the front and I can't even use it. Yeah, it's first in, first out. That's the thing, I do kind of wish, well, because I guess when it's last in, last out, that's basically what a list does. Because you can remove at and just give it the last index. And that's perfectly safe because we're always removing from the end. Yeah. So now this is an... Yeah, because I can't return null because it's not nullable. Could possibly make it nullable, but I'm not gonna. So let's just do var movement add recorded movements count -1. Remove add that return movement. This is C#. Klooch. I'm just basically trying to pop the last movement off the list. We just have a public int num moves. It's gonna be recorded movements count. And we just have to make sure to check that at all times. The thing is, I can check that the list isn't empty, but it's a struct, meaning I'd have to make it a nullable to actually return anything other than a valid struct. I mean, we could return basically a 0 movement where position is going to be 0, 0, 0, time span until is going to be 0 or infinity possibly. We could do that. Basically we have a movement, but I don't like that. I'm not sure what you mean by empty struct. Like, as in having it just be not really initialized, so if this return new movement. Yeah. And I don't think... Let's do... Yeah, we can do that. But use default values. Yeah, I don't think that's gonna work though, because this... Well, it might actually work. Yeah, I don't want null references to be an issue. We could, of course, check that this is greater than 0. I mean, if I do this, is that gonna... Okay, guess it's gonna work. Let's actually go in here real quick into player, do movement replicator, pop move real quick. Attach. No, we're gonna have to do build first. Then attach to hazelnut. Put a breakpoint there because I want to see what the values end up being. Which, just realized I literally can't see that right now because I'm stupid. Movement, move. I always forget to build. That you want to make kind of is empty bool to remove any possible collision. Well, no, I don't think that really matters. Okay, no, this is all good, because if this basically means so if we get an empty, like, we won't make a move, because you're not gonna actually end up moving the player. Okay. So we can now record movements and we can, in theory, pop the movements. However, now we basically need to keep track of how long it's been since you kind of started, right? And that needs to be 10 seconds. So I think player is gonna, for example, have to check, you know, if, I don't know, round manager. We could make this time manager, possibly. How can you differentiate between empty and no movement? Well, we don't actually have to differentiate between that, though, is the thing. If you don't move, Cherno has dinner break. Thank you so much for letting me know, Nikki. Yeah, Gorsek, I don't think we need to differentiate between the player not making a move and the player not having a move, because it's realistically that's not gonna matter. Binoich will have lunch soon too. Yep. I'm probably gonna have something to eat around 2 p.m. my time, which is in an hour. And I'm gonna end the stream before then either way, because we're gonna have visitors. But then I'll be back later today. I mean, yeah, we can obviously differentiate between a no move and, but the thing is, we don't actually have to differentiate between that, because if the player has made a move, we in the same, is Italy in the same time zone as Sweden? Yeah, I guess it is. Cool. Yeah, but the thing is, in the end, if the player doesn't move, what's gonna happen is time spent on tile is gonna increment for the last move that you made, right? So if we take a look in here, right now we're incrementing time spent on this tile that I'm on. I press W, now we're incrementing time for this tile, right? Yeah, exactly. And so a no move isn't technically something you should be able to do. It's just something we're handling in case we have popped all of the existing moves, at which point the round should end either way, I think. Right? Or, you know, the player would end up dying or something. Okay, I'm liking this. Not sure if we're gonna need an on create. So we're gonna need some effectively player, I think. Yeah, exactly, Gorsik. Like, I don't think it's gonna matter. Now, I'm gonna have a bool in player. And basically say... Replicator is Replicator target. Because I want to reuse the same script for the replicated player and the normal player, I think. Right, so we're gonna have a private void. Keyboard movement. Which, because the thing is, most of this code is gonna get reused. Right? It's, well, some of this code is gonna get reused. So if not is replicator target, we'll do update keyboard movement. Otherwise, we are a replicator target, but we need to also check, is it time for us to start replicating the movement, right? And we may want to handle this completely differently eventually. So for now, I'm just gonna have a private bool replicate movement, which is gonna be false. Replicate movement. What we effectively want to do is just call movement replicator pop move to get the movement, and then set the target translation equal to translation minus movement position, because we want to mirror it, right? So if I do right, that's a positive, but we want that to then be replicated by moving to the left. Except this shouldn't happen for the y-axis is the only thing. The y-axis isn't going to be mirrored. But if I just do this, and to test the system, we'll have is key pressed, key code B. We will say if that and is replicator target, replicate movement equals true. And this is gonna look weird, I think, because, well, it's just gonna look weird. And we'll say replicated player, which will have that as true. Yeah. So also, yeah, we're gonna have to duplicate this. Let's move it over there. Take the replicated player, move him there. Let's see, we're at 0.5 there, so let's, yeah. Why is he doing that? Because target translation needs to start off as being the current translation. That's why. We kind of don't want to care about the Y though. The target translation's Y should always be our current translation Y. Yes. And now we can make a bunch of moves. If I hit B, it looks a bit weird because we're not doing this properly. Right? This shouldn't happen every frame. Instead, what we should have is a private float. I don't know. Tile timer. So if we want to replicate the movement, if the tile timer is less than or equal to 0, we do this, and we set tile timer equal to movement time spent on tile. Otherwise, we literally just do tile timer minus equals TS. So move, B. Oh yeah, it's replicating it. Now the problem is, okay, so it's not working now, I guess, because we never end up setting replicate movement back to false is the thing, right? So we want to say if movement position length, I guess, if that's 0 effectively, and time spent on tile is 0. Echo, thank you so much for the resub. What's up, man? We'll set replicate movement back to false, I think, because if it has a length of, yeah, you see, is that correct actually? I don't think it is, because that moved down when I moved that way, so it moved it moves completely in the opposite, right? We only want that to happen on one axis. But now if I do this, yeah, awesome. So, and the theme, it's every 10 seconds is the theme. Kokodora, thank you so much for following. You know what, I should probably add the theme as like a text element on screen. Add a new source, call it LD Jam theme. We're gonna use Google font. It's gonna be Source Sans Pro. It's gonna be regular. It's gonna be 72. Theme. Every 10 seconds. Also 0x Hexcat. Thank you so much for following. Let me verify I actually got the theme right. Yeah, every 10 seconds, exactly. We'll go center, outline, 8, make it black, like that. And let's move it down there. Okay, but we have very kind of basic player replication. I'm assuming Tim's also on a dinner break. Player movement should only replicate on the left/right axis, right? Not forward, backward, up, down. This one up. Verify that I remember that correctly. But we effectively have the player replication system working. It's just we need to tweak it, and we also need to tweak it so that it happens every 10 seconds. Right? So that shouldn't actually be too difficult to do, because we can keep track of float elapsed seconds. It's going to be 0. Let's up here. Elapsed. Oh, that doesn't. Oh yeah, wrong name. Okay, what I wanted to do. Plus equals TS. Set the target translation like that, because otherwise the physics system hates me. Right. If we're not the replicator target, and not replicate movement, then we can move, because when the replicated player starts moving, the kind of keyboard player shouldn't be able to move, right? Because you can't make any more moves at that point. If replicate movement is that, yeah. So if elapsed seconds is greater than or equal to 10, we want to say start replicating the movement. Well, if replicate movement is false, we effectively want to do not replicate movement. We want to flip it and then set the elapsed seconds to 0. I think that's correct. Let's have a little log. time left, which is going to be elapsed seconds. It's going to be 10 minus elapsed seconds. Hit play. Let's wait and see what happens. Okay, it starts replicating. I can't move. And once, okay, yeah, that's a problem though. Because when we run out of moves, we set this to false. We don't want to do that anymore. Because now it's time-based and not actually... based on whether or not we have run out of moves. I'm not sure why the keyboard player started moving. Kuber moves, what's up? Not seeing nearly enough crashes. Oh, why is this replicating? Swaggy, what's up? Yeah, that shouldn't be replicating. Because it's not the replicator target. Oh, wait. I think I have to do that effectively. That's just an else, though. Because both of those... Well, I don't know. Maybe. So if we make moves... Okay, good. Why did you only move once? That didn't look correct. Let's see. Okay, so it moves there. Yeah. Wondering if this needs to come after all of this. Possibly, because I don't think it's doing the last move. It's not actually... Okay, so there it did do the last move, but it definitely, this isn't correct. Huh. That's not correct at all. File timer. So I made two relatively fast moves there, I think. Yeah, why does it always go back up to 8? Because we grab the last one, we increment it, we reinsert it. So why was it 8? Let's debug this. Let's do, well, no, actually, let's do. Okay, so we hit this. Let's check. We have 2 movements. 0.7 seconds. 8. Yeah. Yeah. Oh. Yeah. That's actually correct. Except I don't think it's entirely correct. Well, no, this is correct. What's not correct is the way I actually handle it, because the way this will work is... Well, is it, actually? Because if I do this move, and then I don't do another move, then I'm gonna be spending a lot of time on this tile. And then I make a move. So this first move happens immediately. Yeah, that's correct. Wait. No, actually it's not, because... Is it? I'm so confused. Yeah, it's not correct. It's not. The way I'm handling it is wrong. This logic is flawed. Because currently, what's gonna happen is, if I spend 2 seconds on a tile, we'll grab... 2 seconds will elapse, and we'll grab the next move. Wait. No, I don't need to pop from the front because we want it to be mirrored. If I were to pop from the front, we would end up basically teleporting and then going backwards. We want to mirror it. We don't want to go backwards. Right? But this logic, I think, is a bit flawed. Because if I spend 1 second here, what I expect to happen in the replicated one is it immediately moves. Okay, so we move this, spend 1 second there. This will immediately move there and then spend a second and then grab the next move and immediately move there. Right? I think. Move, then wait. So I made fast movements there. Time 2, 1. Okay. Why is my brain not functioning? Yeah, game programming is a nightmare. Yeah, it's not correct because it's staying on that position way too long. That's way too long. So it is flawed. We effectively want to say that... Okay, first of all, and... Well, let's not bother with that. We immediately pop the movement. Well, no, we don't want to do that. We don't want to pop the movement immediately. Because if we do that, we're just going to run through all of the moves instantly. But it's almost like... Okay, we come in here, we grab the first movement, we move that immediately. So basically, what should have happened there is this made the movement. All right, Joseph, see ya, and thank you. Yeah. Too fast. 1. So what should happen is there, which, no, actually, I think Philip is correct. Just finished my art data analysis lab. Cool. What's wrong? A lot of stuff. Yeah, actually, Philip is correct. We want to remove from the front, not from the back. Which a Q would be perfect for, but Q apparently doesn't work. Because Q, which because apparently I don't have a generic Q. Even though we should have it. No, it's not. Is it DQ? Yeah, no. Like, C++, it's called a DQ, but in C#, I think it's just a Q. The problem is... could not be found in namespace system collections generic. This type has been forwarded to assembly MS-core lib. Consider adding a reference to that assembly, but we should already have that. That's sort of inferred. Because if I go in here and I do add MS-core lib, so it's already automatically referenced. So what's up with that? Is this just like a visual thing? No. All right. What about linked list? Does that support? easily removing from the front. Yeah, it does. Fine, let's use a linked list. Let's call it recorded moves. Add lost. Yes. Then we want to do Can I not do that? Oh, it's just... Yeah, Q is basically a linked list. Oh. It's literally that simple. Recorded moves, remove first. And we don't actually need that. Here we do want to grab the lost. Can I just... No, I can't do that. I need to copy it. Do that. I don't like this though, because modifying it doesn't seem simple, because it's a struct. Because that just has a getter. So I'd have to remove the lost and then do add lost movement, which I don't really like. But whatever. So now 1, 2, 3. This should then go 1, 2, 3. And it does. And now it's actually correct. Because those were relatively fast movements. And we should see 1, 2, 3. Pretty quickly. Oh, okay, yeah. Okay, that actually fixed it. Cool. Now, did Tim go ahead and push the... No, he hasn't pushed anything. But yeah, thank you, Philip, so much for actually mentioning that, because I know I dismissed it immediately, but yeah, you were totally right. Added basic, not 100% correct. Player replication. player movement is currently replicated on all axes, but it should only replicate on one. Okay, let's push that. I'm actually gonna have to end the stream in a little while because we're gonna have some visitors come over, but I'm gonna be streaming again later today. So I'm actually gonna go ahead and add okay, never mind. I'm actually gonna continue streaming for a while because they're not gonna be here for a while. But I'm gonna grab some lunch. If you don't want to delete and re-edit the movement to link list, you can use last ref. Is that a link thing? Because that would be very helpful, yeah. So it seems like that's probably link. In that case. Yeah, I don't have last ref. That might be a .NET Core thing. Last value dot value. Oh, last dot value ref, really? I can just do that? Because hell yeah. And that might then be a link. I'm not seeing it. Last value ref. Yeah, we don't have that. That's not a .NET framework feature, sadly. But either way, thanks for the tip, MMBBBB. But yeah, this is .NET framework, so we don't actually have that, sadly. HF for the LD. Not sure what HF means. But I'm basically gonna go and warm up some lunch. Oh, thank you. Yeah, we're gonna have some. I think it's actually gonna be a super fun game in the end. Because I'm really liking the features we've planned out so far. But I'm gonna take a lunch break for a little while, and we'll see how long I'll keep streaming. So I'll probably be back in like 10-15 minutes. So see you guys then. Okay, we're back. Lunch break is over. Probably. Yeah, we can get rid of that because we don't need Link. Okay, I'm gonna see if I can get a hold of if Tim will answer on Discord because I kind of want to check. Scarge, thank you so much for following. Let's see if we can give Tim a ring. Siriga, what's up? Scarge, no worries. Hopefully I can get back into streaming more consistently after London there. And Kira Jing, thank you so much for following. Man, it's hard to get a hold of Tim. Alright, whatever. But sort of the general gist that I kind of want to talk to him about is, we'll look at this. I think we should actually change the camera location first of all, just for this demo. Right, so probably have it there. Have it rotate. Have a rotation of 90 for now. Let's do exactly -45 on the X. And have it be there. Well, let's have it be sort of more central, like that. Let's copy and paste that. Paste. Because the idea is, if I go up, which, right, yeah, we're using vector 3.forward. The problem is we kind of need to take rotation into account, is the thing. So we effectively need to rotate this based on our current transform, I think. Do we have a way of doing that? Quaternion with rotation, because I effectively want a way to rotate the vector itself. Which I think we can do by multiplying this times vector 3 forward, and that will give me a... what will that actually return? It will give me a vector 3 back. Local forward, would that be? Well, I don't know. If we do plus that right now, what would that actually give us? Okay, so that's still giving the same result. However, if I do a 90-degree rotation like that, yeah, that's doing exactly what we want. Give that a 90-degree rotation. A local forward, local right. The thing is, though, I'm still gonna be recording just vector 3 to forward because we need to kind of replicate that as the local forward of the replicated player later on. So if we do that, and maybe we should make it so the player rotates to kind of face the direction they're moving. Right, so here we would set the target rotation to well, here we wouldn't change it because we're already moving forward. Well, no, we would have to change it, but we can play around with that later on. Because then... hang on. Right, yeah. We're gonna have to... because this isn't strictly a position. Let's have a private void move vector 3 direction, which will do local direction, Newquaternian rotation multiplied by the direction, and then set target translation equals we could set it to translation plus direction, because that would just mean that in here we would just call move with local forward, and here we would do negative local right because we're adding a negative number. Move local right. And we'll take in a bool, record move if, oh, but that's the problem. Yeah. Oh. Yeah, no worries, Tim. Let's jump on a call. Just need to pause the music. There we go. What's
Yeah,
up?
sorry. I don't know why, but I have like no notifications on Discord like whatsoever.
Yeah, that's all right. Um,
No.
I know Jan had issues with that as well.
Mm.
Um, so I was basically wondering, like, when it comes to replicating the movement, we only wanted to replicate it in one axis, right?
Well, yeah, that's what I thought initially, but it's entirely up to you, I think.
Yeah. I think if we're gonna be mirroring it, we should only mirror the kind of left to right movement and not sort of the up and down.
Mm-hmm.
Because that currently it's replicating up and down as well,
Mm-hmm.
or
Mm-hmm.
rather mirroring. Um, and I'm not sure that I like it because it makes it a lot more confusing.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but I did actually have a thought on something that could make the game just a tiny bit harder. Um,
Okay. What is it?
so I'm basically thinking currently the way the player moves is it's effectively W is always going to be up no matter
Mm-hmm.
kind of well the way I originally did it was that it moved according to the world axis, right? So it's all W is always going to go up. Um,
Yeah.
but if we were to make it so that it moves along its own forward axis and then make it so it rotates when so if I press D for an example, it will go to the right and then it will sort of rotate the cube to face in that direction. That way you have to
Right,
do
right, right.
W to continue going right.
Right, okay.
I'm not sure if that's like a good way of kind of adding some difficulty. Um,
Mm. You don't think it'll be too confusing?
that's the thing. It could definitely end up being way too confusing.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
To be
yeah,
honest, I feel like that's even more confusing than just having a like mirror in both axes. I feel like
yeah,
is like easier to understand than every time you make a move, like it might rotate your, I guess, essentially your up and down based on your current position.
yeah. Hold on one second.
No problem.
Um, yeah, I definitely think, yeah, having the player rotate and then kind of change like which direction the keys take you, that I think that could definitely end up being a lot more confusing than it has to be.
Yeah.
And to be honest, like it would definitely make it harder, but I don't think it adds the difficulty in a good way
Mm-hmm.
because that's just you kind of have to get comfortable with a very confusing control scheme at that point.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. It feels like a drunken bicycle type scenario.
Yeah,
Up is
effectively.
down, or up is right, or whatever. It's just, yeah, it's very confusing.
Yeah. Um yeah, because in that case we don't want to do that. But I do think that we would want to only mirror the movement in the left and right
Um,
because and we can play around with that of course, but I sort of feel like mirroring up and down is going to be just a bit confusing. It's a bit
mm-hmm.
too confusing, I think.
Yeah.
Um, yeah,
Yeah, well then, yeah, I kind of thought the same thing. That's why even in like, I guess my initial idea, it didn't even occur to me to make it up and down because that just seems unnatural, right? Whereas
yeah,
this kind of it's very like linear progression. You're going backwards to go forwards. It's more like it's not even left and right. It's like you're going backwards to go forwards,
yeah,
which makes it kind of very natural, I think.
Yeah. Um,
Because I guess in terms of like level progression, you're going backwards but going forwards.
Effectively, yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, let me kind of quickly share my screen so you can see kind of how the movement currently works.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So right now it's counting down from 10, and W currently moves to the right because the camera is oriented in a weird way.
Yeah.
But now you can see this cube starts replicating the movements, and
Mm-hmm.
it will actually stay at the position for the exact
For the
amount of
same
time that
amount
I
of time.
did.
Yeah.
Um,
Ah, cool.
but currently, like if I go down here, let me just. That's
It
gonna
goes
take.
up, right?
Yeah, it's gonna take. Should probably shorten the amount of time it takes for it to replicate right now, but okay, actually that's weird. That's not correct because I think I basically messed up some of the code up here. Or did I? Oh yeah. That is correct.
Mm-hmm.
So now it should basically just go up if I remember it correctly.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, it goes up. And
Yeah.
so the question becomes like, do we want to just keep it mirroring this movement or up and down as well?
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, like in my opinion, I don't think it should mirror up and down.
Yeah.
I Because as soon as you mirror up and down, then it becomes a true mirror. Whereas, like, I don't know, in this kind of case, like it's almost natural to think of it as a like a progression through the level.
Yeah.
And so you have to go back towards the start to then advance in the level.
Yeah.
Whereas if you mirror up and down again, then then it just becomes a mirror game, I guess.
Mm.
And it removes that kind of like meta away from it.
Yeah. To be honest, I think it could be pretty easy because we obviously still want to. I think if we flip these, it should no longer technically be mirroring up and down. It should go
Yeah, I mean that
down
makes
and then
sense, right?
up, I think. No,
Hmm.
because I changed the wrong code. Also, yeah, it's currently looking a bit weird because I've rotated the camera to face in a weird direction.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Um, so that should go left and then down,
Uh-huh.
I think. Yep. Well, I screwed something up again, but whatever. It, like, okay, I think we should definitely not mirror up and down.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. That's
Yeah,
that's what I think as well. I
yeah,
think it'll be a more natural, and intuitive playthrough. I think.
yeah, definitely.
Uh, what's it
Um,
called? I wanted to clarify something with you because I just don't understand it. Towards, I guess, like completely, I don't understand it. Um, how is this game difficult? Right? Are we not showing the level that you have to clear? Are we showing it for 10 seconds? Or is it something that you kind of have to play and just blindly find the solution or something like that?
so the idea that I'm kind of playing around with is if we have a one by one tile here and say this
Yeah.
is the mirror world, right? And
Yeah.
we have some neighbors like this. When the moves get kind of played back to you and you land on this tile. So basically, all tiles in my mind are going to start off as basically having like a sprite on top of it
Okay.
to some degree, or at least not being visible, right? So that they may as well like be way down at the bottom of the world. If we want to
Right,
kind of
right.
have them zoom up like that.
Yeah, yeah.
So when I land on this tile, these 3 tiles will get kind of revealed and come flying up. Or maybe even just this tile, right? And say maybe the immediate neighbors. So we do that and that. So I land on this tile, and these 4 neighbors are gonna basically come flying up.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, only 3, right? Is that or initially 4 for the initial one?
I
Because
mean,
every other time it should only be 3 maximum, right?
yeah. Yeah, because if I land on this tile, it would be this, and that one that shows up.
Oh yeah, but I guess like the next time you move to a tile, like the tile behind you wouldn't shoot up because that one's already up.
Yeah,
I guess.
exactly. That's kind of the idea that I was thinking of. Because I think that could be. First of all, it would
It's
be
funny.
really
I had
cool.
your stream up and then an ad shows up.
Yeah. Because it would be really cool to kind of see the tiles that you're making just come
I'm on
flying
Call of
up.
Duty.
That'd be
Yeah.
really cool.
But it doesn't make sense for the tile that you came from to shoot up.
Yeah,
I think
no.
that makes little sense. Yeah.
So if I'm on this tile and then I move to this tile shouldn't like go like that. It should
Yeah.
stay
Exactly.
there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that will obviously add some difficulty because if the path to the goal is consistent, you're gonna have to basically guess initially and then kind of remember which path you took.
Sorry.
Yeah. But why? But I don't understand. Like, so the way I kind of like initially proposed the idea, which makes the game really easy to play through, is that um that you have a sandbox, a completely open sandbox, and then you completely see the level that you have to clear.
Yeah.
And in that case, the game is just not difficult. You see exactly what moves you have to take, and they play out in a predictable fashion. And then there's like nothing difficult about that.
Exactly.
So my question, I guess, like, why is it going to be difficult? Like, one idea I heard from Jan, is to briefly maybe show the map,
Yeah.
and then you have to go and try and clear it. Or another idea I had, and it was kind of cool, but I don't know if we want to pursue that one. Is have a
Thank you,
minesweeper,
Avenger, for the follow.
kind of set up on on the sandbox.
Yeah.
So you still have completely free tiles, and then you get told that there's like danger around them, right?
Okay.
But you never get told which is the danger until the move plays out.
Yeah.
So it tells you like on every tile, like say there's like 3, 3 dangerous tiles, 1 safe or something like that. On a tile that has 2 safe neighbors, it'll be 2 and 2, like 2 green, 2 red, whatever. Like have like little text on the tile or whatever.
Yeah.
I think that could be a cool way of doing it, and the player's not completely blind, but he's not being told everything.
Yeah. We could definitely have something along those lines. Because that would definitely add some difficulty to it.
Well, it's either that or briefly show the level to the player, and he has to memorize it and then clear it.
Yeah.
And if he doesn't, it takes him several attempts. But either way, like, because once his moves play out, he sees what move he should have made.
Yeah.
So either
to
way,
be honest,
it would be like easier with each playthrough.
I think briefly showing the map could be cool.
And
I think I may have written that down in Notion. Well, I sort of did, but I didn't like word it correctly. Basically, but yeah, show the level very briefly. And I think like on the initial levels, maybe they get to see it for a couple of seconds, but on later levels, it gets reduced to like
it gets
a second or 2.
lower and lower. Yeah, that's a really cool idea.
I think that could be potentially very cool to have.
Well, yeah, I think basically it goes down to at some point 0.1 of a second, you know?
Yeah, like
Um,
just briefly
because
flash it.
yeah, flash it exactly. I think that's a really cool idea. So either one of those really I think is a cool idea, but this one I think is easier to implement the briefly flashing, rather than Minesweeper keeping track of neighboring cells. Like,
Yeah,
well, I guess it's not too difficult to define it whether it's like a harmful or like a safe cell. That's the only two definitions that need to be there.
yeah,
I guess maybe there's like a third one where if we're doing like pressure plates or whatever, that needs to be like a helpful cell, like maybe green, blue, and red. You know,
yeah,
red is dangerous, blue is helpful, and green is like safe. But yeah, like I don't know. It's up to you. You're the developer. Those are the only two ideas I have to make this game difficult from
yeah.
my initial one.
Um, I'm thinking what we could potentially do is kind of combine my initial idea with um the whole showing them the map once. Um,
Mm-hmm.
so at the start of the game, they would get shown the map very briefly,
Mm-hmm.
and then when the moves are being played back, the tile that you land on will be kind of revealed, or have the three neighboring tiles be revealed.
Mm-hmm.
Um, because that way you can still have more of an opportunity to memorize the level, but it's not like you can just stare at the map for 10 seconds and immediately like be able to clear it the next round. It would still be you'd have to kind of remember the path at least
Mm-hmm.
somewhat initially,
Yeah.
and then as you kind of replay it, it gets easier and easier to remember it.
Mm-hmm.
We could do something like that as well. Um,
Yeah, that's pretty cool. That's a pretty cool idea. And
yeah,
I guess that would get more difficult with time, right?
yeah,
Like with further level progression.
yeah. Because if like if the time that you see the map at the beginning is like half a second, then obviously you mainly have to kind of go based on the information you gain when your moves are being replicated. Um, but I think what I'm gonna do is probably start by just having the level flash briefly. See kind of how difficult that feels, and then if we have time and if we feel that it's necessary, we can then later on add kind of the level being revealed as you make the moves.
Well, yeah,
Possibly.
I think we gotta like when the replay we reveal the level as you make the moves, as the moves are being played out.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
All right. I'm actually gonna have to go now because we have visitors.
Okay, no problem.
um,
All right,
see ya.
see ya, Peter.
I'm gonna have to end the stream right here. So see you guys later. Bye bye.